You're listening to the CobCast. I'm Cobb, and this is the cast. Inside the Omni Dallas Hotel were guests who traveled far and wide to attend the QAnon convention over Memorial Day weekend. But across the street gathered a choir. They had set up a piano and were singing in unison. Singers of Dallas believe in love over fear, read their banner. For the Turtle Creek Chorale, which organized the gathering, every concert should have a message. They sing about injustices and intolerance, and the people harmed by both. Baugh, the artistic director, said he chose songs such as Make Them Hear You from the musical Ragtime and Let There Be Peace on Earth, because they speak to peace, coming together, and finding common ground.
Sure. Well, we caught wind of the event at the Omni, a couple months ago, kind of when everybody else started figuring out. I know it's been a little hush-hush, but we've been following it and decided to put together a little choir in protest, in very peaceful protest. And so this is made up of members from various choirs, but anchored by the Turtle Creek Chorale here in Dallas. So I will say the choruses like ours during COVID kind of we lost our voice a little bit. And so coming out of COVID, we know we have to speak on issues of injustice and intolerance. And so here we are today to sing and put some good in the world. So that's why we're here. We're just trying to bring a little joy and counteract some of those messages that are being put out today in Dallas.
Those messages were on full display inside the QAnon-linked For God and Country Patriot Roundup over the Memorial Day weekend. A group called Patriot Voice organized the QAnon event. The faces behind the group are the couple John Sabal and his partner Amy. On the social media platform Telegram, the two go by QAnon John and Queenanon Amy. Since the news first broke of their convention, they refused time and again to speak to most media outlets, and several journalists were denied access to the gathering. Promotional material for the event often included an acronym that stands for Where We Go One, We Go All, a popular QAnon slogan cribbed from the film White Squall. QAnon John and Queenanon Amy have insisted that their event wasn't tied to QAnon, but their Telegram channels and the list of speakers say otherwise. The FBI has called QAnon a domestic terrorist threat. The conspiracy theory is multifaceted, but it revolves around the idea that the so-called deep state is controlled by pedophile Hollywood elites and powerful Democratic politicians, all of whom are supposedly acting against the former president. Followers of other conspiracy theories can find a warm welcome among the Q crowd. As the Turtle Creek Chorale sang, supporters of former President Donald Trump and QAnon acolytes waved signs and chanted at passing cars just down the street. One of them was Kevin Stearns. The group he belongs to is called J Project.
I gotcha. Has it been a long weekend so far?
We've been out here for basically 24 hours now. I think that's what we've been doing right now. We're J Project Justice for Prince, demandarevote.com. That's J Project, our ministry, and I'm from Massachusetts. I got started with J Project Ministries back with the murder of Prince Rogers Nelson. I found out our founder Abigail Noel, who's currently on the bullhorn right now, she provided enough evidence to prove his murder, and I saw a video on YouTube of it, and I knew in my heart, I was like, there was like some little things that I was like intrigued on it, and I knew there was like a little bit of, I just kind of saw God in it, I guess, at the early points, and this is where it came into. Like, we fought for his murder for 4 years, and there was definitely our last year, this summer, we went to DC. We have done pretty much everything for his murder, and then we know President Trump is actually going to be testing his remains for arsenic. Arsenic in Prince's remains is going to prove his murder, and we're in DC with our campaign for the president before this even election started. We knew President Trump needed to know about this message, and it's gonna sound kind of crazy, man, but this is revelation. And Prince was speaking about a lot of what's going on in the music industry and what goes on behind the scenes. He was speaking about depopulation, chemtrails, stuff that's very apparent in these days now, and he was murdered for it. And that's why this is all really God's mission, man. And that's how we got started, and now we're like living in the moment.
Prince actually died of an accidental fentanyl overdose in 2016. On top of seeking justice for Prince, they also believe the presidency was stolen from Trump, and that ballots cast in the last election should be recounted. Kevin was telling me a little bit about this, but then we were interrupted by some people passing by.
We've really got like this awesome campaign right now. We know this election was stolen, and we're doing everything that we can as Americans right now. So, we're going through obviously a lot of criticism here, but we've got to speak the truth fearlessly. We know that like it's really our duty as an American, so we've got to like face all our fears and really like, hey, dude, man. I look so embarrassing, man, dude.
Thank you. God bless. Nobody likes you.
Hey, man, are you demanding a fair election, man?
Donald Trump. And know the truth.
Oh, man, dude, that's crazy. All right. So, what we're going through, man, is hey, let's go over here. Can we go over here?
Don't be mad at your dad. It's all right. Good for you.
Yeah.
Luckily those lights are on the schedule.
Yeah, right. That was pretty awesome. That's like what we kind of deal with. I mean, that's kind of a regular thing that what we've got going on.
They came to Dallas for the Roundup, but no one in the group attended or watched the live stream. He said while their messaging is similar, they don't see eye to eye with the QCon organizers.
And are you guys actually attending the event at all?
No, not really. They've allowed us inside and stuff like that. They've been very good. They've had a few guys come. Well, there's been a lot of support, but then there's also like I think they're getting a little like they're kind of wondering what's going on here. I mean, we have the same message here, but people are getting like a little bit. I don't know. We can kind of feel it. We had a few speakers come down and ask if we were painting their ideas in a bad light. If we were a fake news media or something like that, like, and trying to make them look bad, because we had lots of press down here. I mean, this is where everybody is, but they're up in their buildings right now behind. I don't know. You have to pay for passes and stuff like that, but that's not for the people, man. We're for the people, and like, that's like one of the big things that they're failing to see, and God's really making that apparent, man. So, we're out here kind of just experiencing it, I guess, and it's really that's how God sees it. And
tickets for the event cost $500 to $1,000. Organizers said the high ticket price would help weed out possible infiltrators. According to Sabal and his partner, Dallas is only the beginning. They said they're planning an event they want to take place in Las Vegas. The couple wants to call it the Forgotten Country Patriot Double Down. Hundreds of attendees piled into Eddie Dean's ranch, a short walk from the Omni, to hear such speakers as retired Army Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, the ex-National Security Advisor to Trump, and Sidney Powell, formerly a lawyer for both Flynn and Trump. Some of the proceeds went to Powell's nonprofit, Defending the Republic. Powell describes her nonprofit as a legal defense fund to protect the integrity of U.S. elections. She and several others were sued by Dominion Voting Systems, a Denver-based voting technology vendor, for spreading lies the company aided in stealing the election from Trump. There is no evidence the election was rigged. But QAnon believers may have walked away from the convention feeling confused. The theory includes the belief that members of the cabal are being punished through military tribunals. Followers will also say everything that has happened, including Trump losing the election, is part of the plan. But Powell, who came on stage to Alicia Keys' This Girl Is on Fire, told the audience at Eddie Dean's no military tribunals were going on, and she didn't know of such a plan. Powell said, "I don't have any evidence that there is some grand underlying plan pursuant to which all this is going to be made right. I don't want to give anybody false hope that this is happening." However, in a biker vest with patches reading "No Peace, No God" and "Ride Free, Take Risks," she kept up her talk of a fraudulent election. Once the proof of Trump's win is revealed, she said, he can be reinstated as president. Powell also called President Joe Biden a demented old pervert who can't even tie his shoes. Jason Sullivan, a social media expert who worked with Trump ally Roger Stone during the 2016 U.S. presidential election, told the audience how to use the internet to get their messages out. He also spoke about election fraud, which hasn't been proven, and made a noose gesture around his neck when referring to Hillary Clinton. And if that didn't get people fired up, Flynn's seemingly calling for a coup must have. An audience member asked Flynn why a coup, like the one that killed hundreds earlier this year in Myanmar, couldn't happen in the U.S. Flynn responded, "No reason. I mean, it should happen here." But when word of this got out, Flynn issued this statement: "There is no reason whatsoever for any coup in America, and I do not and have not at any time called for any action of that sort. Any reporting of any other belief by me is a bold-faced fabrication based on twisted reporting at a lively panel at a conference of patriotic Americans who love this country just as I do." He blamed the fake news media. Ahead of the event, the organizers were turning down media requests right and left. On the Patriot Transition Voice web show, Sabal said, "We're going to have very selective media, and it's going to be conservative media." They ended up inviting far-right media outlets like the Epoch Times and Gateway Pundit. In a Telegram post, Sabal told his more than 25,000 followers that Logan Strain, one of the hosts of the widely popular QAnon Anonymous podcast, and the Daily Beast Will Summer, who's working on a book about QAnon, both tried to purchase tickets to the Dallas event, but they would not be let in. Strain, who until recently criticized the conspiracy theory under the pseudonym Travis View, had his ticket canceled just days before the convention. But Sommer said he never received such an email canceling and refunding his ticket. So, he got on the list, was given an access pass, and walked right into Eddie Dean's ranch. Sommer sat among the so-called patriots, gathering material for his upcoming book for nearly 2 days. Sunday afternoon, though, someone noticed Sommer in the crowd. It wasn't long before the organizers called the Dallas Police Department to escort him out. As Sommer was escorted out, Sabal and Amy followed QAnon influencer Jordan Sather while he filmed the interaction. Sather also spoke at the event. Sabal and Amy also tried to say Sommer's ticket was canceled and refunded and that he was trespassing. However, he told DPD and the organizers there was no deception. He bought the ticket under his own name, it hadn't been canceled, but that he was happy to leave. Later that day, Sommer posted a screenshot from the site his ticket was purchased from, showing it was still valid. Flynn and Powell were the big-ticket items, but some prominent Texans appeared on the bill as well. Texas GOP Chairman Allen West, U.S. Rep. Louis Gohmert, and Commissioner of Agriculture Sid Miller all showed up. West, like many other speakers, encouraged listeners to get involved in local politics. He also said they could celebrate Memorial Day by standing up to the leftists supposedly trying to take over the country. Gohmert didn't seem to have much of a message during his time on stage. He spoke about how mean-spirited the left is and how he was too embarrassed to ask for ketchup for his meatloaf during one of his first dinners with Trump. As Gohmert recalls, though, Trump also ordered the meatloaf, put ketchup on it, and then tried to convince him to put ketchup on his mashed potatoes. Later on stage, Gomer argued that the January 6th riot at the Capitol wasn't that big of a deal compared to things like Pearl Harbor and the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The other speakers spewed homophobia, transphobia, misinformation about the pandemic, repeatedly referring to it as the plandemic, and false claims about an alleged pedophile cabal in the U.S. Vicki O'Brien is the CEO and producer of her Texas-based media company, Relevant Entertainment. She told the audience to strap in. O'Brien went on to explain that Walt Disney was a Level 33 Freemason, an organization she said is meant to indoctrinate the masses. They do this, in part, through entertainment, pop culture, and media. She said preteens are bombarded with transgender narratives and satanic symbolism, and that transitioning genders makes people more like Satan. She went on to insist that tax programs for film and TV produce content secretly crafted to further indoctrinate people through media. Luckily for the audience, O'Brien offered a couple of solutions: prayer and investing in her company. Attendees left the convention having spent thousands of dollars. They spent it in part on auctioned items like a baseball bat signed by Flynn for $8,000, as well as a blanket adorned with a Q logo signed by Flynn, Wood, and MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell. But they also left having been told they needed to stop being so nice. They needed to become more involved. They needed to double down. Outside the Omni on Saturday, the musicians played for a couple of hours. Stephen Price, who's been with the Turtle Creek Chorale for 3 decades, said it was important to deliver their message, one of love and equality for all. I'm Jacob Vaughn, a journalist based out of North Texas. Some people call me Cobb. And this is the CobCast. Thanks for listening.